Because the human being begins from an inanimate substance. He begins from an inanimate substance. Allah says, "Kuntum amwata fa'ahyakum." You were inanimate, and we animated you. We brought you to life. So you were inanimate, mayyit, and we brought you to life. وَذَلِكَ حَيْثُ كَانَتْ تُرَابًا. And what he means there is that you were dirt, you were mud, you were soil rather. You were mud, and then you were the ceramic preparation. ثُمَّ يَصِيرُ نَبَاتًا. And then you became vegetative, that had growth. And that's what Allah means when He says, Allah أَنْبَتَكُم مِّنَ الْأَرْضِ. He caused you to grow from the earth. He caused you to grow nabatan. Nabat is vegetable. So we go through these stages. And this is very important, because when we get to the end of the book, you're going to see that this is very important, these stages, that he's spending time on this because he comes to a profound conclusion at the end of this, which is really actually, it's so overwhelmingly stunning that it'll just give you a completely different perspective on why God has created us in these phases and stages, and what God intends by it. So, and then he says, وَذَلِكَ حَيْثُ مَا كَانَ نُطْفَةً وَعَرَقَةً وَمُضْغَةً وَنَحْوُهَا. So that's the vegetative, that's biological life, and that's why, even though the spiritual life has not come into you're in a vegetative life. So we were nabat, right? And then we go to the animal, and then we go to the spiritual, the immaterial, when we get our soul. So those are the phases that we go through. Allah has put us through these phases. So we were dead, with just substance that was not biological life. So we were basically mineral, and then we became a vegetable, and then we become animal, and then we become human. So we go through these phases. And he said, ثم يصير حيوان, and then animal. وذلك من حيث يتبعه بطبعه بعض ما ينفعه. In that you follow by your nature things that benefit you. ويحترز من بعد ما يضره. So every animal that's healthy will look to secure its benefit and do what it needs to do to avoid harm. And that's why Allah says that the human is more astray than animals, because they don't look after their benefit. I was with one of my boys once, many years ago, and this lady was smoking a cigarette, and my son had never seen smoke before. Like, he hadn't seen anybody smoke. So he was just staring in utter shock at seeing this woman smoke coming out of her mouth. And she looked at him and she said, "Don't you ever do this." Now that is not a good role model, right? Because somebody who's doing something and telling you not to do it, I mean, there's a contradiction there. But that's the human being. They will do things they know are harmful for them, whereas animals won't. So that's what he's saying there. ثُمَّ يَصِيرُ إِنسَانًا فَيُخَصَّصُ بِالْأَفْعَالِ الْإِنسَانِيَّةِ. And then those things that make us human then become part of our, of our nature. وَقَدْ نَبَهَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَلَى ذَلِكَ مِنْ مَوَاضِعَ كَثِيرًا. So Allah has indicated this in many places in the Quran. Like when Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّنَ الْبَعْثِ فَإِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ مِن نُّطْفَةٍ ثُمَّ مِنْ عَلَقَةٍ ثُمَّ مِن مُّضْغَةٍ مُّخَلَّقَةٍ وَغَيْرِ مُخَلَّقَةٍ لِنُبَيِّنَ لَكُمْ وَنُقِرُّ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ مَا نَشَاءُ إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ مُّسَمًّى. So, O humanity, if you're in doubt about the resurrection, think about this. We created you from earth, and then from a zygote, and then from a embedded embryo, and then from this developing embryo that is formed and unformed. And then we, in order to clarify to you, and we have instilled in the wombs, made firm in the wombs, whatever we please, to a fixed term. And then Allah said, أَكَفَرْتُ بِالَّذِي خَلَقَكَ مِن تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ ثُمَّ سَوَّاكَ رَجُلًا. Do you deny, do you negate, do you disbelieve in the one who created you from earth and then from a zygote and then made you a human being? فأول ما تظهر فيه قوة النمو الموجودة في النبات. So the first thing that manifests in us is the power of growth, vegetative growth, that you see in vegetables, in the vegetable world. ثم قوة النزاع الموجودة في الحيوانات. And then the next is this قوة of نزاع, right, which is the نزوعا إليه. There's a willfulness there that enters in from the animals. ثم قوة تناول الموافق. And then the power of getting what is pleasing, ودفع المخالف, and avoiding what one doesn't want. ثم الحس, and then sentience. ثم تخيل, imagination. ثم تصور, conceptualization. ثم تفكر, reasoning. ثم العقل, right? So thought, تفكر there would be thought, and then reason. ثم العقل, and then reason. فهو لم يصير إنسانا إلا بالفكر والعقل. So you only achieve your humanity once you get to that ability to think and reason. الذي فيه يميز به من الخير بين الخير والشر. That you can distinguish between good and evil. And this is تحسين تقبيح. So you have this khilaf. The Mu'tazilite basically said the aql was able to perceive good and evil. And the other schools, the Maturidiyya and the Ash'ari, they believe that also, but they limit it. So they don't have the absolute position that the Mu'tazilite takes. So they believe that the intellect can perceive what's tahseen and taqbih. Like the intellect is left to understand that knowledge is good and that ignorance is evil. That's the realm. The intellect can do that. It doesn't need revelation to determine that. It can see that theft is bad and that honesty is good, murder is bad, treating other human beings the way you'd like to be treated. Those are things that reason can arrive at. So that's a soft natural law, right? It's a soft natural law. It's not a hard natural law. It's a soft natural law. But where they differ, and then they also mula'amat al-taba'. They also believe that you like something or dislike something, because a lot of there's a whole theory of ethics called the boohoo theory. The things you don't like are bad, and things that you like are good. So our scholars recognize that that's an aspect of ethics. Like we might find it disgusting to eat snails, so we say, oh, that's bad. But then you travel to France or even Morocco, and they're cooking snails, and the Moroccans say, oh, that's good. So that's just nature, taba'. And Imam Shafi'i puts some emphasis on that in terms of tahsin and taqbih. The third, though, is what relates to iqab and thawab. That in terms of the details of right and wrong, the intellect can't reach that. It can't get to, there are many things that the intellect will not be able to understand. And then also the punishment and the reward that goes with the action. That's the realm of sharia. It's not the realm of aql. I mean, you can make, there's ta'zir in sharia, which the aql can do. But in terms of the afterlife, the reward and punishment of the afterlife for actions that are done in this world, only revelation can determine that. The human intellect has no access to that. So he's saying that, that the human being can have this ability to perceive right and wrong, but not in an absolute sense. That's my point. It's limited. And then he says, إلى العقل أشار تعالى وصوركم فأحسن صوركم. He formed you, and what a beautiful form he gave you. Your forms, أحسن. He made them excellent, made them beautiful. فالإنسان بعقله صار معدن العلم. So the human being, through the human intellect, became the source of knowledge. It's the mine of knowledge. This is where you're going to get the knowledge from. وَمَرْكَزَ الْحِكْمَةِ and the center of wisdom. ووجود العقل فيه في ابتداء الأمر بقوة كوجود النار في الحجر. So the existence of the intellect in the beginning of the affair is potentiality, is through potentiality. بقوة. Sometimes قوة means power, sometimes here it means potentiality. كوجود النار في الحجر, like the existence of fire in the flint. والمحتاج في أن يري إلى الاقتداح. So أن يري means like to strike the flint. So if you strike the flint, you'll get the fire. وكوجود النخل في النوى, or like the existence in potentiality, the whole palm tree exists in the palm seed. المحتاج إلى أن يثمر إلى غرس وسقي. So you have to plant it and you have to water it. كوجود الماء تحت الأرض, like the existence of water, table waters that are under the earth. المحتاج إلى الاستسقاء منه إلى حفر. So in order to acquire that water, to draw that water out, you need to drill a well.